Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Monday. I cannot believe that you guys are making me do this today. Listen, Linda. My husband is so sweet. You know what he just said to me? He's in pajamas and a robe, and he's eating chips, and he's laying on the couch or with the dogs in there, and he's watching this movie. I don't know what movie it is. Some romance movie with Kate Hudson. And I put my boots on. I'm doing everything in segments because I'm uploading videos at the same time. So I brought out my scarf, put on my hoodie, put on my coat, and he's watching me as I do each thing, right? And he goes, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going outside to vlog." And he goes, "Do you want to just vlog upstairs in the bedroom, sweetie?" He's like, "I feel bad." Because he's been sitting downstairs while I've been filming videos upstairs. And I said, "No." I was actually looking forward to it because it's so pretty out here today. I'll show you in just a second. It is freezing though. And he goes, "Are you sure?" He's like, "You don't want to just go to the bedroom and vlog?" He's like, "I have my AirPods on." I go, "No, I want to go outside and sit." And he goes, "It sounds miserable out there." He's looking out the window. So I did not know we were supposed to be getting snow today. I just knew that it was supposed to be super, super windy. I thought all day today too. It hasn't been really that windy today, but last night it was so windy that when I took the dogs outside, I have all this stuff in my lap, by the way. I have the blanket, I have the gloves. I just made coffee. It is currently, my phone is inside uploading a video. So I just looked at the weather. It's 22 degrees outside and it's snowing, which I didn't even know we were supposed to get snow today. And it was 5:07 when I came out here. I think 5:07. So anyway, okay, so my phone's inside. There's already snow on this table right here, look. Can you see? Look at all this snow we got. It's still snowing outside. I don't know if it'll show up on video. Hold on a second. Let it kind of go out. I don't know if it's showing up, but it's actually, it's probably not showing up at all. It's snowing kind of heavy. But look at my table. I just cleaned off my table before I came out here, and so I got snow on it. But anyway, so I just made my coffee. I bought all these coffees from the grocery store, if you watched my haul yesterday. And the Lavazza coffee, oh my God, I had the tiramisu last night with some creamer in it. It was so good. But this is the caramel This is the caramel apple coffee that I am trying to get through slowly. This is my first cup of coffee for the day. Okay, my first cup of coffee for the day and the last thing that I am filming for the day. And then after this, I don't know if I'm just going to skip a walk entirely tonight. If I'm going to try to walk in this for a little bit. It is very pretty, and I'm finishing a Jacqueline Frost book. So this might be kind of fun to walk and listen to Jacqueline Frost book if I really this coat is not heavy enough. I'll have to put on something heavier. But if I really get all piled up, I could do a 20-30 minute walk. So that might be kind of fun. But then tonight, my plan is to read and watch shows. I finished a show and I started a new show last night. We'll get to that in just a second. But it's going to be a night of relaxation. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, let me get all cozy and warm. I did not bring the lighter out here today because I didn't know if the candle would even stay lit. So, like I said, last night, so I'm sitting in this chair because I just know it's going to get dark. It's already past 5 o'clock. You know what? The wreath didn't come on yet, and it's already after 5 o'clock. But I know it's going to get dark out here in a second, so I was like, I'm just going to start in this seat. I haven't had to have this blanket because this blanket is so... Oh, I forgot I have my scarf. I'm going to put my little cozy scarf on. I just announced, it's uploading right now. You guys are going to love it. Some of you have sent this book to me. I announced today on my BookTube channel, I love this scarf. I think this is the one that Mel made me. Mel and I were talking about this last night. I have 2 scarves in there. Well, I have 3 scarves that people made me. I think Mel might have actually made me 2. And this was one of them that she made me. But anyway, I've worn this one on here. I wore this a couple weeks ago. But anyway, so, I gotta put my gloves on. I got 2 pair, I'm gonna double glove it. Actually, before I do that, let me have a sip of this coffee. Yeah, the snow is it's like Christmas time is here. Charlie Brown. I'm conducting an orchestra, that's what I'm doing. But the snow is falling so lightly, and it's so peaceful and still in our neighborhood tonight. I love it. Feels very spiritual to me. I think because this is the kind of weather that I got sober in, and that was such a spiritual moment. And I was talking about this recently, about going into treatment. I just felt safe, when I was in there. I really don't know how to explain it other than that. I felt super, super safe. Not at first. I mean, I'll be honest with you. And did you notice I didn't put the hat on, the trucker hat on first? I just came out here. I was like, no, we're not messing with the trucker hat. It is too cold for that. Well, I've been putting this on. I think this is my favorite of the, are they called like skull hats or what are they called? Like, anyway, ski hats. I've been putting this on as I take the dogs out. But, you know, like when I first went into treatment, I was pissed. Like, I was not happy about being there at all. Didn't want to be there, wanted to leave. Share the story before, if you haven't heard it, that my neighbor, I think I knew that she worked like in a detox unit. I don't know that I even understood really what it was that she did. I knew she worked in some kind of like hospital or treatment center. This was my neighbor growing up. And her daughter, I was like, is one of the, remember whenever I tell the stories about like the two girls I was friends with in the neighborhood? It doesn't even matter. Nobody's going to connect. I'm not even friends with these people on Facebook. So anyway, the daughter's name was Katie. And this was her mom. And so I knew she worked. She was like a nurse. I knew it was like in a specialized hospital. I don't know that I knew that it was like a treatment facility. I don't even know that like I knew what a detox nurse was. But anyway, when I walked out of my room that first morning, which would have been the 17th of December, she was at the nurse's station. And I was so pissed. And I can remember I said something to her about like, I need to get out of here. And she was like, she like took my hands. She like checked I think she checked like the sheet and the vital. Anyway, she like took my vitals and she was like, you're really sick. She was like, you need to stay here. Please stay here. And I remember like they took your cigarettes and stuff and they like held them at the nurse's station. And the detox unit was like the only place you could smoke in the hospital. Like on the detox unit, which was like separate, you could smoke like in the lounge because they didn't want people from the detox unit going outside, obviously. So you could smoke in the lounge. And there was also the only place that had real coffee, like real caffeinated coffee. Like the rest of the hospital had decaffeinated coffee. There was like, if it was like a soda, it was like a Shasta and it was no caffeine. You had to go outside to smoke. So I remember she was like, just please stay. I don't even, like it's weird. Like I remember that, like looking back on it. I remember there was like another woman sitting in the lounge. A couple years ago, now it's probably been like 12 or 15 years ago, I wrote like 150 pages of like a memoir. I called it Pretty Drinker because that's what I used to call my mom, a pretty drinker. 150 pages of like a memoir of like me going, like my first memories from treatment and going through treatment. I never finished it, obviously. I still have it. To be honest with you, it's really kind of hard for me to read it sometimes because like treatment was a good experience for me, but there were things that happened in treatment that treatment was a hard experience for me. And so sometimes when I read through it, I got to like when I was writing it, I remember getting to like a hard part of it. It was when a lot of people were putting out memoirs and I thought, well, why not me? And so I wrote this and I got to like a hard part that I remember. And the other thing is I don't remember a lot of it. You know, it's been so long and I remember bits and pieces of it, but there's a lot that I don't remember. And I remember like getting to a point in the book when I was writing it, you know, I just thought it's like, it's so cold and probably I didn't bring another battery out here. So I have to change the battery at some point. But I remember like getting to a point in the book when I was writing it. It is so pretty out here. It does remind me of that year. And I remember getting to that and being like, I just didn't want to push through that memory at that time, like work through that issue, and I just stopped writing it. But I remember going down there into that lounge. I remember I smoked. I've been talking about smoking a lot on my videos lately. I remember I smoked Camel Light Wides. I switched in treatment. In treatment, I started smoking Newports. And I mean, I've smoked Newports before, but because most of the people that I was in treatment with smoked Newports. Like when I went to meetings early on, it's like all anybody smoked. Winston's and Newports was like all anybody smoked when I went to treatment early on. So I switched halfway through treatment and started smoking Newports because I was borrowing. That's really when I became like a menthol smoker. And then until I really like quit smoking, I was a menthol smoker like my whole life. But anyway, I can remember she handed me my pack of cigarettes And I went down that lounge and like made a cup of coffee and sat there. And I can remember looking out the window. I can see it in my head. You walked in the door. There was like, it looked like a small little like waiting area for like a doctor's office, but it was a lounge. And there was like a small couch and like a bigger couch. And this woman was sitting on the end of the couch, and she was sitting close to the TV drinking a cup of coffee. And there was like Jerry Springer or something was on. I would have to go back and look at that book, because when I read the book, I knew what TV, I can't remember what it is now. But anyway, and she was like mumbling to herself and stuff. And I remember looking out the window. Well, I remember before I walked down there, there was like next to the nurse's station, there was like a floor to ceiling mirror like in the wall. And I remember I looked at myself, and I had like scrub pants on, like hospital pants, and like this hospital robe, and like the t-shirt that I wore in there. And then like I had like these footies on, like those footies that you can't like the no skid hospital footies. And my hair was like a mess, and I had like a black eye or something, like my nose was bruised. And I can remember like looking in the mirror and being like you are a mess. I wrote this in the book, actually. I should bring out and read parts of it to you guys. Would you enjoy that? I'll find it and read parts of it if you guys are interested in it. But I said the picture of a pretty drinker is what I said. That was how I started the whole book, when I looked at myself in the mirror. I remember that. I remember looking in that mirror and being like, this is what you really look like. This right here, this is what you look like. Can't hide from this. And I compared it a lot to like, the book was really going to be about like my sobriety and my mom's sobriety side by side. But like, I really like my mom. I can just remember her early on, like drinking and smoking cigarettes, and she always looked like she was having so much fun. You know, it's interesting because looking back, like when I was growing up as a child, like I remember my mom, like it always seemed like drinking was so much fun for her. Like I always thought she was such a pretty drinker. Like my mom was so pretty, and I can always just remember her like holding a drink, and it looked like so much fun. What's interesting looking back on it now is that, like, do you guys remember me telling, like, lots of fun stories about my mom drinking? I don't. I tell, like, the sad stories about my mom drinking. That's, like, what I remember today. But growing up, she felt guilty about that a lot. She would say, like, I feel like, you know, I'm the reason why you drank, and you'd idolized it and whatever. And I do think to some degree that had something to do with it, but that didn't make me an alcoholic. Maybe that made me want to, like, have my first drink, but that didn't make me an alcoholic, you know? It wasn't like every time I picked up a drink, I was like, oh, I'm like my mom, you know what I mean? But anyway, I remember walking down there and looking out the window, and there was, like, it was really a bad winter that year. And this was like it was December 17th, and I can remember looking out the window, and the treatment facility that I went to was like kind of off the interstate, and it was kind of like by like a shopping area and stuff, but it was like far removed. It was like on a hospital campus away from like, but anyway, I could see the interstate in the distance, and there was like traffic moving very slowly, and there was just these mounds of snow, and I was like, you are so screwed. Like, you are stuck here. I felt so stuck. And then detox was not a great experience for me. Like, when a man loves a woman, with Meg Ryan, when she shows it in there, like, the detox off of alcohol is no joke. Like, it is no joke. Like, if you're a daily drinker, do not ever attempt it on your own. Please go see a doctor, check yourself into treatment, something. It is no joke. There's no way I could have done it at home on my own. They show it in the movie. She is like, literally like, feels like she's coming out of her skin. And I can remember watching that movie after, I think it came out afterwards. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what it was like. I think I was in detox for like 8 or 9 days. It was a long detox. I don't even think I felt normal to like, I can remember like the 3rd day or something, calling my dad. I was so pissed. And I said, come and get me out of here. And he said, I'm not coming to get you out of there. This is where you need to be. And I called your mom, and I told her not to take your calls either, because I knew that you'd just manipulate her into coming to get you. And I said something to him about bringing me. He goes, I'm not bringing you anything. He got like so mad at me on the phone, and he hung up on me. I hung up on him. Anyway, I remember there was this woman. I ended up working with her at the same treatment facility years later, and she was like, she's passed away since, but she was like 4'11", 5'10". I mean, such a cool lady, but I didn't know that then, right? And I'm on the payphone, like right outside her office. That was like in between these double doors and the detox unit. She was like, I think at the time the director of like the detox unit. They've changed all that stuff now. I haven't been to that hospital in years. But anyway, I remember like I took the phone and I like went bang, 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 bang. I was so pissed. And I remember she like boom through these double doors, and she's like, "Is there a problem?" And I said, she goes, is there a problem? And I was like, no. And she goes, I didn't think so. Get back to your room. I was like, damn, these people in here. Detox was hard for me. Like, detox was miserable. I remember after I got out of detox, that's when I was like on the men's unit. And they separated us by like, if you're just alcohol, if you're just drugs, or if you were alcohol and drugs. You like your color of your name tag was specific to that. And I was alcohol and drugs. And I remember I had this roommate when I started there. And he was, it's so weird. Like, I don't remember his name or anything. This was not my roommate on detox. That was a bad experience. This is my roommate when I was in the rehab unit. Yeah. Anyway, I'm like in my head. Like, I'll tell the whole thing sometime. There's so much to tell of it. But anyway, this guy, I can see him leaning back in his plastic chair. So when you walked in the room, there was like a sink and then like a door. Like, you walked in the room like this. And then, okay, if I'm walking in the room, to the right was like the sink and a mirror. And then to the left was like a closed door with like a shower and a toilet. And if you walked in, there was like a twin bed and then like a chest, like a big long like armoire chest of drawers. Very basic. It sounds fancy, but it wasn't. And then right next to it was like a little desk with a drawer and a plastic chair. And then next to each bed, and then there was another desk, another like hanging closet thing, and then like a twin bed. I was next to the window. I can remember laying there and just looking out the window at the snow every night, and that was very comforting to me. And then next to each bed, there's like these lamps that were overhead so you could read in bed. And then like next to each bed was like a cube table. And I can remember he would just lay, like they had lights out because you had to smoke outside. This kind of reminds me, and the place where we smoked was in between the gym. There was like a hallway that went to the gym, and then you would walk outside and then you would walk into the cafeteria. Or you could walk around and go to the cafeteria. But between the cafeteria and the gym was this like long area where like there were tables in the summer and people, there was a gazebo out there, people could sit and stuff. So we would just stand out there between the two doors. It was very much like this, and just stand out there and smoke, all of us, like 10 of us. I remember this one woman I was in treatment with, she had blacked out. I mean, I can remember listening to her. I mean, I was a blackout drinker, like blacked out and didn't remember like most of the nights. But she was probably my age now then. So she was probably in her 50s. She had like blacked out and like gone to Daytona and gotten married. Like they checked her in under her married name. She was like, why do you keep on calling me that? Like, that's not my name. She would tell us this story. I can see her. She had like long blonde hair and she was real short and she was hilarious. And she just smoked one cigarette after another. And she'd say like, when they kept on checking her in, they kept on calling her like by her last name. She's like, why do you keep on calling me that? It's not my name. And like her sister or somebody was like, you got married, don't you remember? She got married in a blackout and didn't even remember it. I need the land. The thing is, like, once you're in that part of the hospital, like that, like your residential rehab area, like you do start swapping stories and telling jokes and stuff like that. There was one other young guy in there there was two other young guys. I think the one other young guy was probably like, there was one other young guy that was gay in there. He left like, he had been in there already for a while. And I remember when he came in, or when I came into the rehab unit, he was there like 2 days more. Cause like they had him like show me around a little bit and stuff. I remember seeing him at some meetings after I got out, and then I think he relapsed. But like his family brought him like a case of Diet Coke. Because I can remember thinking, like, that wasn't allowed. And then there was this other guy because there weren't a lot of young people getting sober, and there weren't a lot of young people in treatment at all. And then there was this other young guy, and I remember this because I used to have a coat like this when I was a little kid. Like the Ralph Lauren, the real colorful coats. I loved those when I was a little kid. I can remember having it. He had one like that, but I think he was like, if I was like 22, he was probably like 24, 25. And he kind of like took me under his wing. I remember he was like real good looking guy, like real dark hair. And I did see him at meetings in a different program after I got out of here too. Or after I got out of treatment. And he was like a crack dealer in Indianapolis. I can remember us talking a lot about how we were kind of surprised we had never ran into each other before. And we would talk a lot about that. And I would see him at meetings, and he actually stayed sober for like 6 months or a year, and then he went back out. And I would ask, I would go to that it was a Sunday night. It was a speaker meeting that I used to go to where he would go. And I can remember, do you remember I've told the story about, like, nobody would ask me to go to a cheeseburger? He was part of that group. And so, like, I would say to my sponsor, like, nobody at that meeting ever asks me if I want to go to a cheeseburger at Steak and Shake. And he'd be like, do you ever ask them if you can go? I was like, no. That guy was part of that group. He was real nice. I don't remember what his name is now. But anyway, I remember, like, this girl that he was friends with told me that he, like, had relapsed. And that was at, like, maybe 9 months or a year, 6 months or a year. And then I asked about him, like, I stopped kind of going to that meeting regularly. And then I can remember I would ask, like, every time I was there, does anybody talk to him? And then after a while, like, nobody, like, then those people faded off, you know? When I first, that's, like, probably one of the hardest things about getting sober in a treatment facility. Halfway houses are probably very similar to this, is that it's kind of like this sinking ship theory. Like, you're all going through the same thing together. And so you become really, really good friends. Like, I can remember, like, I've shared the story on New Year's about the woman that I would end up seeing her when I worked there years later. Like, you know, she made fun of the lunch meat and the chocolate chip cookies and stuff in the cafeteria at midnight. I loved all that. But anyway, it just felt homey and cozy to me. I don't know. Like, it's hard to paint a picture of what my life looked like before. And I don't really remember it that well. I think it's part of the problem. But, like, in all honesty, like, I have friends of mine who's, like, their kids are, like, 18, whatever, and they're, like, you know, 22, 25. And they're, like, everybody makes me feel so bad that they're still living at home. But, like, I have a friend of mine that, like, her kids, like, she's divorced and whatever, and she can afford it, and she's a nice house. When her kids graduate from college, she has them move home if they want to. All three kids, her son and her two daughters have all done this. They move home so that they can pay off their school loans and save money, and she doesn't charge them rent or anything. They, like, pitch in for groceries, they buy their groceries and whatever, but, like, she doesn't charge them rent or anything. She wants them to save their money and pay off their school loans, and then when they're ready to do that, then they can move out and they can afford it because it's expensive and stuff. And I've had so many friends of mine that are like, I feel like I'm judged constantly because my kids, like, you know, like, are still living at home, they're 21 or 22, and I'm like, it's nobody's business but yours. And I do share this with quite a few people. Like, I don't think it was neither one of my parents' fault. I was ready to move out. Like, I was ready to move out at, like, 17. Okay, like, I was ready to be done. And my dad helped me get an apartment when I was 18. And I think part of it was I pushed so hard to get an apartment. Number one. Number two, I think my dad was really done with me coming home 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when he had to work and be up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It was a huge issue towards the end. Like, my dad was like I mean, it was a constant conversation. Something has to change. So I got my first apartment. And I thought that was just open door to partying. I mean, I was having parties all the time. And if I wasn't having parties, I was drinking by myself. I mean, I had a fake ID so I could buy whatever alcohol I wanted. I was using drugs all the time. But I remember, like, moving into that apartment. Oh, the snow just all of a sudden stopped. But I remember moving into that apartment. Well, I loved that apartment. I did. But I remember moving in there and, like, opening the pantry door, and I had, like, I didn't even have any macaroni and cheese or anything. I was like, you have no food. Like, you need to go get food. Like, that was such a weird concept to me. And it wasn't like, I mean, at that point, like, I was making my own food at home and stuff like that. Like, my mom didn't even get home until, like, 9 o'clock at night, you know, when I was in high school and stuff like that. It was like, I mean, it wasn't like I was that sheltered and that spoiled that I didn't know how, like, I mean, I know it's a joke that I don't cook, but, like, I made food at home, like, when I was growing up and stuff, you know? I mean, I mostly ate sandwiches and soup. I'd heat up some soup and make a sandwich and whatever, but I ate well, but I cooked but I was like, I can remember, like, those first, I think, it's weird because I think a lot of my mom's drinking, like, as I got older, like, I've talked a lot about, like, on the weekends that I was with my dad, or the nights, my mom would, like, her drinking would take off. Because I think she was just really, really lonely. She would talk a lot about it. I keep on, have I said this yet? That the wreath hasn't gone off yet? Oh, maybe it's because the light inside is on. But anyway, I think, I mean, I don't think that was the only reason that my mom drank, but I definitely think she was self-medicating her loneliness. I think that had a lot to do with why I drank and used a lot, especially towards the end. I was so lonely and I was so, like, dependent on a relationship that I can remember the times that I wasn't in a relationship. I just didn't really want to be there. I think it's why, like, my roommate that lives in Berlin now, like, you know, she and I lived together. I mean, I was telling this with Alex the other day. I don't know if I've showed, she and I shared a bed. It was nothing weird. It was nothing sexual. We shared a bed. Like, we had a queen-size bed. We slept in every night together. I can remember us, like, putting our pajamas. It was very cozy and it was almost kind of like we were two lost souls that we were, like, it was a one-bedroom loft. I mean, it was kind of like we were two lost souls that were kind of like, I mean, we talked about how we were brother and sister. And, like, we were trying to, like, I don't know, make a home or something. Even though we were drinking so heavily. We actually liked staying at home and drinking and making a fire in the fireplace. And I can remember we put our pajamas on. We both had, like, pajamas that we would wear when we get into bed and we watch some, like, cozy movie and just, like, laugh and stuff like that. I mean, it just was cozy. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, Alex was like, how did that work? When you guys, I was like, well, we had deals. Like, I mean, she slept on the couch when I had boyfriends and stuff like that. Or, you know, she'd go stay at guys' houses and whatever. But, like, I mean, it wasn't, like, every night. But, I mean, we were best friends, you know? Like, I don't know. I think I was always trying to find a home, which I think is why it's so weird, like, when my dad found me walking over the interstate the night that I got sober, I just kept on saying, I want to go home, I want to go home. And he was like, I don't think you meant, like, your apartment. He's like, I think you meant, like, some ethereal home. Like, I don't know. Like, I think moving out, I think I've always kind of been looking for that. Like, I've always just been wanting to nest and be cozy, you know? It's so weird Walter just came to the door as I said that. Because the dogs just make this place so homey, you know? Well, hi, Mr. Walter. What are you doing? He is so fascinated. He's like looking at this leaf over here that's blowing. He is so fascinated by the leaves blowing outside. Oh, there's Otis. Well, hi, Otis. Otis needs a little bit of a bang trim, and then they're going to get their first grooms. Well, they've had their first grooms already, but they're going to get their first, like, real grooms. The vet gave us... What was that? The vet gave us a list, and we took Otis in about, oh, they're going to get my plastic and Birkenstocks. Of, like, closer groomers that are really, really good. So, anyway, I'm so excited about that. But, yeah, I think I've always kind of just been looking to, like, nest and have a home. I think it's why I feel so content now. It's like, I don't know. But I was lonely a lot in my apartment when I first got there. And I mean, through the years, unless I had a boyfriend, you know, my roommate that I talk about, it's not like she and I mean, I moved in there when I was 18. I got sober when I was 22. I moved out of there when I was, like, 23. And I moved in with her and my first boyfriend. We moved into a 2-bedroom apartment. But, so from 18, she probably moved in there when I was, I mean, we probably only lived there together for, like, a year and a half, off and on. Oh, at one point she went and stayed with these 2 girls. That was short-lived. She called this one gal up. Oh my God, she was so funny. This one gal didn't pay her rent. That's why they ended up getting out, because they couldn't afford the rent. They were, like, at the apartment complex right next to me. I think that's why I was dating my first boyfriend. Is that why she moved out? And that's why we all 3 of us that's what happened. Okay. So she called this gal. I remember this girl's name was September. She called this girl September, and she said, September, she said, you have 10 minutes less than Goodwill to come here and get your shit. And she hung up the phone. That girl was over there so quick getting her stuff. I wonder what happened to old September. I wonder what happened to her. Anyway. She said she called Goodwill too. She said, put all of her stuff outside and come pick it up. She was over there with quickness getting her stuff. But anyway. I think I just was like, I don't even know that I realized it. I think I was lonely when I moved out. You know, at that time, like, all of my really close friends, like my 2 girlfriends from high school, they both lived at home. And I can remember my one friend was like, I don't think you should move out. And I was like, no, we're gonna have our place to party and whatever. She's like, yeah, but, like, I don't know. I can remember her using cocaine for the very first time too, and she was freaked out. She was like, I am so worried about you using cocaine. She's like, you're so addicted to everything. I was like, girl, it's gonna be fine, whatever. And lo and behold, I mean, she used and drank a lot too. But I think and she ended up just stopping on her own and whatever. She wasn't an addict or anything. Both of them did. But she was like, I don't think you should move out. She was, like, real worried about me. I was like, no, girl, I'm ready to go. But I can remember being real lonely. And then towards the end, not only was I lonely, but like that friend that I'm talking about, she was in a serious relationship. My other friend, my other friend from high school, she was in a serious relationship, living with him, working 2 jobs. My roommate that now lives in Berlin, before I, like a year before I got sober, she moved to her grandfather. The camera stopped. I cannot believe I'm at the 30-minute mark. I had a group of people that I hung out with that I was very close with at that time. My one friend passed away earlier this year, and but they all lived together. And they were all working and in school. I wasn't even in school. Like, I had, like, withdrawn from my classes. And I wasn't being honest with anybody either. Like, nobody, not even my closest friends, really knew what was going on in my life. Like, that picture, like, I would get up every single day. You know, I would go out with them. And then when they would go home and go to bed because they had school or work the next day, I'd come home and continue to drink until I passed out. So, or if I stayed at their house overnight, like, I would pass out. And then I'd wake up at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'd drive home, and then like I would drink a couple of drinks and then take a pill or whatever and then pass out and go to sleep. I was waking up at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was getting up, I was drinking in the shower, I was eating pills, and smoking weed, drinking. And then, you know, they were finally ready to go out at 9 or 10 o'clock. But between when I got up and then, I was just at home using just to function. And I was lonely. And I wasn't talking to anybody. And nobody had any clue what my life really looked like. It was dark. You know, I'm not just like when you hear people say it was a dark time in my life. It wasn't just a dark time in my life. It was dark. Like, it was sad. And how I ever even made it out of that is beyond me. I literally have no idea. Oh, now it's getting windy. The wind is picking the snow and twirling around. It is very, very pretty out, though. You guys want to see? Looks like a cozy mystery, doesn't it? I didn't even know we were supposed to have snow today. So anyway, so the reason why I'm telling this whole long story, which is probably you guys are like, we've heard this a million times before, is that when I got into treatment, I don't really remember a lot. I remember like moments of being in the detox unit. I don't really remember a lot about it. Like, I remember the first day. I remember a lot about my roommate in there because that was not a good experience. I remember briefly kind of going to some groups in there. I think they kind of just let you do what you, like, they would, like, our meals were brought to the detox unit. Like, we didn't eat in the cafeteria. I remember when they came over and they were like, you're ready to go to the rehab unit. And I was real resistant to it. I was like, no, I don't want to go. Like, I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what it meant. I was like scared. And I was like, because I hadn't been to this like facility for inpatient stay before. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I didn't know what it looked like. And they're like, it's going to be fine. And I remember they took me in my room. And I remember just seeing like all these people just kind of walking around on their own. The detox unit was like, when I was in there, was like, I think there was only, there was probably 12 or 16 beds. And I think there was only like 6 of us 8 of us on the unit at that time, throughout the entire time that I was there. And you didn't leave. Like, they bring your meals, you smoked in the lounge, you drank coffee, you watched TV. I don't really remember doing a whole lot. I remember feeling like shit. Like, literally feeling like I was going to die. Like, I remember feeling like that. Coming out of my skin. Literally felt like I was coming out of my skin. And then I got to the rehab unit, and I just remember it being, like, a lot of people, and, like, I kind of just, like, nobody really was, like, because, you know, in the detox unit, if you start walking through the door, they'd be like, Peter, come back from those doors. It wasn't like that. Like, and it wasn't a lockdown facility. You could leave. I mean, we all thought it was a lockdown facility. People thought that for years. But it wasn't. Like, you could walk out. I mean, if you wanted to walk out and not even sign yourself out, you could just walk out. I didn't realize that at the time, though. But, I don't know. I just felt very safe. I can remember, like, they had the lounge, like a men's lounge, a women's lounge. And I remember they had 2 lounges on the men's unit. Because they had, like, one for, like, all the alcoholics, and then one for, like, I don't know why they just had 2 lounges, but I don't know why they separated. One was at the end of the hall. And I didn't go to that lounge. I went to, like, the middle lounge. And there was, like, a TV in there, and then there was, like, a refrigerator, and it was stocked with, like, juices, like little cans of juice, not cans, but, like, containers of juices. And I remember they had this cheese and, like, bags of, like, pretzels and stuff. I just sit in there and eat all the time, like, and watch these shows. I started watching Party of 5 in there. I don't know how. They must have been doing like a marathon or something, but I started watching Party of 5 in there. The battery just went to the halfway mark. I'm definitely have to go get another battery here in a second. So anyway, I started watching Party of Five while I was in treatment. Loved it. And I do remember the groups, but I was like a little bit like my head was more clear-headed then. But you know, I can remember when I got to I don't remember this from the detox unit, but I do, maybe a little bit, but I do remember when I got to the rehab part of it and the residential part. So there were like phases of treatment. And the rehab part of it, like when you hear people say going to rehab, like detox was more intense. You're like medically managed. Rehab, I was still medically managed. And then when I was moved to residential, you're not like medically managed as much. Like it's not 24 hours. Like detox is, they're just phases of treatment. But anyway, so they're different levels that you're moved to. Not literally moved to. I mean, when I was moved from detox to rehab, I was moved to a different part of the hospital. But when I was moved from like rehab to residential, I wasn't, like I didn't change rooms. I was just moved to a different level of care, if that makes sense. It was like a lower level of medical attention. But I can remember, like, you know, you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you eat in the cafeteria, it's like, you go through, everybody got excited about the ice cream machine. Was there an ice cream machine there? There was, I think. Or I was like, no, they got a salad bar when I worked there. I don't think there was, maybe there was a salad bar then? I don't remember, but we loved. We got the cafeteria. You go outside and smoke. You had groups throughout the day. You had like recreational therapy, which we did a lot of games. That was fun. If you've ever seen the movie, somebody asked me the other day, what's my favorite recovery or like treatment movie that I think is the most accurate? I think there's a lot, like 25 Days with Sandra Bullock. I think there's a lot of accuracy to it. I think the relationship bonding is very accurate in 25 Days. Clean and Sober, I love that movie. Clean and Sober is very similar to my treatment experience. Very similar. I mean, my treatment facility that I went to was not pretty. It was just very basic. There was a sadness to it. But like I think when I was in treatment, like I saw some people come through like twice. And then like, and they'd sign themselves out. It's like they just could, I don't know. I mean, I say that a lot. I don't know why I'm still here. I don't know what clicked for me that last time. It was my 5th treatment, you know, like I don't know what clicked for me. But I can remember being on the rehab unit, and then I can remember my dad, like, brought me clothes in. I don't know when this would have been. It would have been when I was on the rehab unit, because, like, when you're in the detox unit, I can remember he didn't want to bring me anything, but I did have a friend of mine. She's a friend of mine that got sober on January 1st, because she called me in treatment. She was drunk. But she brought me shampoo. It was funny because I was just talking about shampoo stuff the other day. Shampoo and conditioner. She brought me cigarettes. And she brought me, I asked her for Michael Crichton books. And I can see it. She brought it to me all these. And I can remember I picked up these, like, we used to drink a lot together, like, at my apartment. And I remember I picked up these, like, footies. She must have come, like, the second day that I was there. Because she came to my room, my detox room. And I can remember, but I don't think she brought me any clothes because she'd wear pajamas in the detox unit. I remember I held up this footie and I was like, girl, or she did, or something like that. We've joked about that forever. But anyway, just kind of like how sad has my life gotten? Kind of like it's hospital footies at this point. Like how bad has it gotten, you know? I remember my dad brought me like a bag of clothes, and I can remember thinking he must have literally just gone into my closet. I didn't know till later like how hard it was for him to go into my apartment, that like it just was like this like, there just was drugs everywhere. There was like alcohol bottle, like and ashtrays, like in my bed. Like it was just a mess. Like my dad had my apartment professionally cleaned. I mean, it was just really, really bad. I told this story before, but my dad bought me like a brand new like coffee maker, and like took me to the grocery store, and like I don't know, like that was really, really hard for me when I really got like what it was like for he like got my coat professionally clean, because it was like he was like, it smelled rank, Peter. He was like, it just was so gross. Like just to know that my dad had to walk in there and see what like I was living like, I don't know, it's really sad. And that like he got so excited about buying me this like new coffee maker, and I don't know. But I remember he brought me these clothes. I can see it. It was like this orange and red flannel shirt. And I don't know why I bought this shirt, but I remember I never wore it. And I had to wear it all through treatment because my dad brought it for me. And he like brought me like, I had that shirt in like 2 different patterns, and he brought them both to me. And he brought me like pants that didn't fit. Like, I don't know, like, he must have just gone in my closet and like pulled things down. Because like, Nothing that he brought me like really fit that well. I can remember having to wear these clothes that I like never wore in treatment. I don't know why I remember that. Isn't that so funny? But I remember feeling really, really safe. Like, even, like, we would go to meetings, like, in the van, and they would take us to meetings and stuff, and I would just be with everybody, and I was really, really quiet in treatment. Like, I'm really quiet in general. Like, it's so weird that, like, I'm a YouTuber. Like, it really is. Like, I'm just really, really quiet in general. Like, even when I'm with, like, with Tanya and I, we joke and laugh. Caroline and I joke and laugh. But, like, if I'm in a group of, like, if Caroline has, like, 2 friends over there, like, I'll talk to them. But, I mean, I just kind of, like, sit and listen a lot. I've always been that person. And I don't know if it's my social anxiety or whatever. It's a little bit of that. But I'm just more of an observer in life. I always have been. And so I was just very quiet in treatment. Like, I'd stand outside with people and smoke, but I just kind of, like, laugh when they told jokes. It wasn't like I was offering a lot and stuff like that. You know, it was like, I can remember later, when I worked in treatment, my counselor asked me, so, I can't remember, I think it's like 7 or 10 years, like, they would, like, get rid of your file or whatever. And she said, do you want to know anything from your file? And I was like, whatever, no, I don't really care. And I remember talking to her then. She'd said it to me before. And she said something to me about, like, because she didn't remember my case at all. Like, I mean, she remembered me, and we had worked together. She saved my life. Like, she said things to me that nobody would ever have said to me before, you know? She called me princess. She's like, you think you're special. You think you're different. She's like, I'm not treating you any different. She absolutely saved my life. I love that woman. She's still a part of my life today. But, so she was like, you know, before they, like, shred it or get rid of it, do you want me to look through and see, is there anything specific? Do you want to know, like, this or that? Like, you know, I think I did ask her, like, can you look and see, like, what I blew and what, because I don't think I knew that until, like, I mean, I knew it, but I didn't remember it. So I think she looked to see what, like, and I remember I had to sign a form to be able to, like, see, I feel like she gave me, like, my original drug screen or something like that, or showed it. Didn't give it to me, but, like, showed it to me. And I remember I had to sign something to be able to see it. I don't remember how that worked. But anyway, but I remember she and I we talked about it before, and she said, it's always the ones you don't think are going to make it. And I said, and this is so true in 12-step programs too. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, I never would have guessed that you would stay sober. She goes, you were like the last one on my list. She goes, you were quiet, you didn't want to share a lot. You were real resistant to working on anything. And she said, I never thought that it would be you. And you know, like I was talking about this earlier, it's like the sinking ship. Like, you get sober with these people, right? Like, I don't know why I always remember this, but there's a scene like this in Clean and Sober, too. In rec therapy, this guy's passed away. His name was Lenny, and he was a rec therapist that I had when I was in treatment. And he was like this real tall, like, looked like a 70s gym teacher, you know? And he would have us do these, like, stupid exercises. And I remember we had to, like, get on, like, it was like a room of, like, 30 adults, men and women. And we had to, like, get on our knees. This was so hard for me, I remember. And they would just, like, laugh their asses off when I did it. And I remember this was, like, one of my first days on, like, the rehab part. And it was, like, such a bonding experience for all of us. And I can remember, like, walking out, this one guy, like, put his arm, like, around my shoulder. And he's like, you're such a good guy, and whatever. But I can remember, like, we had to, like, get on. I don't even remember how it went. But, like, I actually saw it in a movie years later. I don't want to know what movie it was. But it's like a team building exercise. You get on, like, one knee in front of somebody. And you say, I think it's something like you say, like, I love you, Judy, but I just can't crack a smile or something like that. And you have to, like, look at the person in their eyes. You say something. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look it up and see what it is. But you can't laugh and they can't laugh. Or if one of you laughs, like, you're both out or something. Oh, my God. And it was supposed to teach us that, like, we're not a glum lot. Like, we can still laugh. We can still have fun sober, you know? And I can remember, like, laughing so hard and being like, I can remember leaving that group and being like, I have not had this much fun. I can't even remember the last time, like, I had this much, like, honest, sober fun. Like, it just like, really, it was such a good lesson to learn that, like, you don't have to be high or drunk to have fun. Well, we all, like, bonded. I mean, there was, like, a group of us. There was, like, 10 of us in there that really bonded. It was hard because I can remember some of these guys that I were in there with. A lot of them worked at, like, factories. And so their insurance, this is not the case today. But back in the day, their insurance was so great that they would get, like, 30 days of rehab built into every year that they worked. These guys worked at, like, Rolls-Royce. Not, like, the fancy car, the engine. It's, like, one of the plants is here in Indiana. Chevy, Rolls-Royce, Chrysler. And so these guys, and they all knew each other. This is where I learned that, like, factories like that are literally, like, microcosms of the world. And that there's, like, drugs, prostitution, there's gangs, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on in factories. It's like you go in, it's like a different kind of world. Like everything that you would ever, like people are drinking there, selling drugs, selling alcohol. There's all kinds of stuff. I never knew that about factories before. So anyway, I can remember, like, they would all sit at a table, and these guys were really, really nice to me. Everybody was really nice to me, and I had, well, my first roommate in detox was not nice, and my first roommate in the rehab unit, he was okay. But anyway, he ended up getting kicked out. He would sit in the plastic chairs and lean back and be like, smoke, and then he put the cigarettes out in the drawers, and he ended up getting kicked out. And then I had the room to myself for the rest of I was so happy about that, I remember. But anyway, these guys were so nice. But I think one of the hard things for me is I can remember we were like in a group, or maybe we were sitting at like dinner or something. I was talking to these guys, and I didn't really get it. I mean, I was 22, you guys. Like, I was 22 going to like 15. I didn't really get it. A lot of the things they would tell me. And so, like, in their insurance, it was built in that they got, like, 30 days a year in rehab. So they would check in, like, right after Thanksgiving to rehab. They all had addiction issues, you know, tons, really bad ones. But they'd all check in, and they, like, everybody in the hospital would, like, know who they were, because they would come in there every year. They'd be like, hey, Judy, how are you? Oh, good, it's good to see you again. Men and women would do this. But, like, they would get, like, 30 days. And they had, like, horrendous addiction issues. But, like, after Thanksgiving, they would check in, and then they wouldn't go back to work until after the new year, because they'd stay in treatment for 30 days. They literally got 30 days of treatment. So I knew they'd be like, I'd say stuff like, are we going to go this meeting? They'd be like, we don't do those meetings after we leave here. No, we go back to work. We'll be back here next year. You know, I can't imagine how many of those men and women are probably dead now from addiction. It makes me sad, you know? I think it also has a lot to do with why a lot of insurance companies and stuff don't pay for insurance the way that they used to back in the, or pay for treatment the way that they did back in the day. I think it was, we don't really talk about that. There's not affordable mental health or addiction treatment in this country. It's horrible. There just isn't. It's so expensive. Mental health treatment and addiction treatment is so expensive. But I think there was a period of time where it was really abused too, you know? I don't know, it kind of makes me sad, but I can remember, like, getting really close to those guys and being like, oh, are we going to go, like, because we'd all go to, like, a Thursday night meeting in the van or something together, and I'd be like, when we get out, are we going to go? And they'd be like, we're not going to meetings when we get out of here. And I think that was, like, one of the hard things was, like, so if I got close with, like, 10 or 15 people I was in there, you get real close to people. I mean, you're in groups every day talking about stuff, you know, and men and women, you're like in all these different groups. I mean, we had men-specific groups, but then we had co-ed groups and whatever, and you're real close with everybody. You're going to meetings with them, you're sharing all your stuff, you're smoking outside, you're talking to them, I mean, 30-plus days of treatment, you know? I think the thing that was hard was that there was a group of, like, I'd say, like, 8 or 10 of us that, like, was like, we're going to come here for, like, the alumni meeting every week, which was the Thursday meeting, and then there was a Sunday breakfast club meeting. It was called Breakfast Club, but they just had donuts and stuff. And I can remember, like, coming and, like, we'd all be like, hey, it's so good to see you. And then it was, like, a week later, there'd be, like, one of us gone. And then by, like, 6 weeks, it's crazy because it was, like, me and 2 other guys. And those 2 other guys are, like, in 2 separate programs. And they're still sober to this day. Like, I still see them at, like, conventions and meetings and stuff like that. To this day. And we'll, like, everyone, this one guy, he and I, like, when we see each other, he's always like, oh, Peter, like, at the time, if I was 22, he was, like, probably 40 something, so he's got to be, I mean, he's got to be, like, late 60s, early 70s now. When I see him, he's like, Peter, he's like, it's so good to see, he's, like, real big in the program that he's in, but really, really super nice guy, but, like, I mean, I don't think I ever thought it was going to be the 3 of us, like, I just didn't, ever. I never thought that it would be, you know? I don't know why it kind of makes me tear up a little bit. Because so many people that, like, even people in my aftercare group when I first got sober, I don't know where some of those people are today, you know? I have no clue where some of those people are today, and it breaks my heart. It's like, are some of them even alive still to this day? You know, I just don't know. But I felt very, very safe in there. And it wasn't just the walls, and it wasn't just the shitty bedroom or whatever. It was the routine. People that cared about me. People were checking in on me. I knew I kind of mattered. I had my little name tag. I go check if I got phone calls every day, you know. I went to bed and rested my head on that shitty plastic pillow every night with a pillowcase over it and looked out the window at the snow, and I felt safe. And that was important to me. And that was how I felt like, you know, like at different times in my life, like a home equaled safety to me. So I don't even know how I got started talking about this. Y'all want to know what I did today? Well, my husband's day today completely turned around because he went into work, but he was supposed to have lunch with his friend from 12 to 2. Remember he was supposed to have lunch like 2 months ago, and then or dinner, and then they rescheduled it to like lunch on the 29th, but I didn't remember that until yesterday. So we were supposed to have lunch from 12 to 2. There's pool crew lady number 1. She's waved as she walked by. I didn't see it till after she was going by. But anyway, but he went to work, and then she was like, can we do 11 to 12 instead, because she had something to do. So we went to work from 11 to 12. Then he texted me. I wasn't even up yet, and he said, I'm on my way home. So I woke up with him, like, coming in the door, being real quiet, and, like, the dogs, we all looked up. So we got back into bed, and I said, I'm just going to sleep a little bit longer. So he was, like, on his phone, I slept a little bit longer, and I said, I thought you weren't supposed to, because I was going to film while he was at lunch. And I said, I knew this wasn't going to be a long lunch. This isn't one of those girlfriends where it's like a 6-hour lunch. I said, I thought you weren't going to be home till like 2:30 or 3. He's like, well, blah, blah, blah. So he explained it to me. And he goes, and I'm not doing dinner tonight. I go, what? He goes, because he was supposed to do this birthday dinner tonight with 2 of his girlfriends for one of his friend's birthday. But because of the weather and it's so cold and everything, one of them said that they didn't want to do it because they didn't want to leave their house because it was too cold. And the other one said, let's just move it to a warmer day. So we're going to do it like months down the road, I guess, or something. So he was so excited. Because I was like, what are you going to do? He started Heated Rivalry last night. I didn't know how far he got because we switched places. He went upstairs and I came downstairs and started watching my shows. He finished it last night, Heated Rivalry. A couple of people have reached out to me. A couple of people commented and said, why aren't you starting Heated Rivalry right away? Because I'm not. I'm not. Like, okay, I guess I should, like, as a gay guy, be real excited about gay representation on a TV show. I'm not, like, not excited to watch it. Like, I don't know. Like, I think the other thing is, like, I read those graphic novels called Check Please or whatever. It was about the hockey players. Alex and I watched that movie. What was it called? It was based on the young adult books, Red, White, and Royal Blue or whatever. I thought it was cute. I liked it. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I don't feel one way or another. This is how I feel about it. It has nothing to do with it being a gay show or anything like that or a gay romance. I'm excited to watch it. I'll watch it and I'll review it, but I don't feel any more excited about watching that than I do, like, the Yellow Jacket season 3. I don't know how to explain it. Like, and Alex, it was funny because I think this is the other thing. Like, in the past, like, I've watched, like, all the main gay movies. I've read a lot of gay literature. I used to. I tried to a lot this summer. I was actually looking at, like, what my 5-star books were, and Lie With Me was one of them, that French book. Oh, my God, I forgot how great that book was this year. I don't know. I've done, like, a lot of, like, LGBTQI+, like, history reading and watching documentaries and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm excited that there's gay representation in this, like, show that's come out. It was based on this young adult book and all this kind of stuff. I think that's fantastic. I think it's great. And yeah, I will watch it. I didn't realize it was 6 episodes. I thought it was 10. Alex said it was 6 episodes, so I'll probably watch it sooner rather than later. But I asked him, I said, was it good? And he goes, yeah, it was good. And I said, like it was that good, like everybody's talking about? He goes, it was okay. He was like, he goes, yeah, I liked it. He goes, but it wasn't like, I go, do you think I'll like it? He goes, it's a rom-com. He goes, the one thing he said he really liked about it, which is interesting, is he said it, like, goes back and forth in time. So, if you like that, the J. Bell books, something like Summer, are fantastic. And it does that. The movie I watched this year, something like Summer, and I did not love the movie. Was it this year that I watched that? I think it was. The books by J. Bell. Oh my God. And he, like, when I was writing my book, I reached out to him. He's a really nice guy. The other books I would really recommend if you're a reader and you like LGBT, specifically gay fiction, is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Ilir Sainz. One of the best books I've ever read. Not just LGBTQI+ fiction, but one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. They made it into a movie. The movie was pretty good. The book is fantastic. Also, Benjamin Ilir Sainz, who's an English professor, a writing professor, I think at the University of Texas, Austin. I wrote him. We talked back and forth for a while. He was really, really nice, too. He wrote a book called Last Night I Sang to the Monster. It's about an addict that goes to treatment. It's very similar to what I was sharing, but it's about this, like, I think he's like 18 or 19. And he goes into treatment. It's an adult treatment program. It is probably one of the, I wrote him specifically about this book. I think it's probably the best fictionalized version of a treatment experience I've ever read in my entire life. It is so raw. It is so real. It's called Last Night I Sang to the Monster by Benjamin Ilir Sainz. S-A-E-N-Z. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. It's fantastic. And Anyway, so last night Alex, he finished the whole thing. He liked it. He said it was like okay. He was like, it wasn't like the best. I said, why is everybody going crazy online? He's like, because it's two good looking guys and they're hockey players and they fall in love. I said, okay. He liked the time when it goes back and forth in time is what he said he liked about it. I don't know. So last night I finished The Bay, finished it completely. Was it? No, The Bay. What was I watching? Oh, After the Flood. Okay, so I was talking to Tom. I had 3 episodes. I had half of episode 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I had 3.5 episodes to finish of After the Flood. Tanya said it's on BritBox. Tanya said that she had started. She's like, you watch more shows on BritBox than I have now. So I mentioned it to her the other day. It's about this small town. The detective's mom, she's not a detective, she's a detective in training. She's pregnant, and her husband's a detective. Her mom is in Bridgerton, okay? A lot of these actors are in different shows. I couldn't figure out where I knew her from. And so this small town is flooded. That's why it's called After the Flood. And they find this body. And so it's them trying to figure out the story of this body. I said something to Tanya the other day because I said it was kind of slow. She goes, I started it and it was real slow. This show, 6 episodes After the Flood, season 2, it kind of ends like conclusively, but not really. Season 2 comes out this spring. Y'all do not sleep on this show. It was so good. It reminded me of Down Cemetery Road, the end of it. But you kind of got into it. Get into it. Oh, the battery's flashing. I'm going to have to go inside and get on the battery. Okay. I probably need a moment to warm up anyway, so I'll be back in... Where am I at on time? Here so I know. Did I not bring my reading glasses out? Where am I at on time? I think I'm at like 26 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay, I'll be back into it too. Okay, I'm back. Alex was asking me, he's like, is it so cold outside? And I said, you know what? It really doesn't feel that cold outside. This blanket is amazing. I mean, I love it anyway. I think it's so pretty, but this blanket, it is warmer than the heated vest was. It's like fleece, but it's not. It's like kind of like a crushed velvet. Like, I don't know. The brand, did I tell you the brand? Honey, the brand, it's called Out something. There's like a tag on here somewhere. It's like a plastic tag. What's the brand called? Tag, where are you, Tag? Tag, you're it. I've talked about this before, in case anybody wants to get one. Where is the tag? It's like a hard plastic tag. What is going on? Does it say on this tag? Why can't I find it? Okay, the brand is not on the tag. It says care instructions. Okay. Don't you remember I showed it on here one time? Why can I not find this? This is driving me crazy. Okay, I don't know what it's called. Out something. Anyway, it's very, very warm. Alex just found out. So we have therapy tomorrow. And so he was going to work from home tomorrow in the morning. He had a meeting in the morning. And so he was going to get up and do his meeting, and then he's going to work from home tomorrow. And he just found out that everybody has to come in for the meeting because it's like an end of the year meeting. So he just found that out. So I was like, well, do I need to take an Uber to therapy? He's like, no, I'll be done, and then I'm going to come pick you up, and then we'll go to therapy. So I don't know how much I'll film tomorrow on my other channels. I mean, we won't be back until like 4. He'll probably run some errands on the way back, so it might be 5. So I'll do a vlog tomorrow night. And then Wednesday is New Year's Eve, so we'll just kind of play it by ear. But I'm going to try to get up early tomorrow and maybe film a video or 2 before I leave. And then just do my vlog when I get back. That's kind of my plan for tomorrow. We were talking about, I was waiting for the camera to warm up a little bit too, because I knew if it was cold, like it would just, I don't know, maybe that's part of why the battery's dying. We were talking about New Year's Eve. So the 2 different options for New Year's Eve are Carlos and Liliana's and his friend's house. The problem was his friend's house. I said to him, I said, are you going to go over? So his friend's having a party with like all the couples that we're all friends with, right? And the problem is he's going to want to stay later than me, and they live like 45 minutes. This is the couple that got married first this year. They live like 45 to 50 minutes away from us. If he wants to stay, that's fine, but I don't want to have to take an Uber all the way home from there, right? And so, I don't want to stay till like 4 o'clock in the morning somewhere. So that's why we had originally decided to do Carlos and Liliana's. because we knew that we probably wouldn't stay there till 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. I honestly thought, and it's closer for me, it's like 20 minutes for me to take an Uber from Carlos and Liliana's. So I thought that I would take, like, when we were done with Carlos and Liliana's at like 12:30, I would take an Uber back here, watch movies and hang out with the dogs, and then Alex would probably, you know, go over to his friend's house. And I was totally fine with that. And so when I was inside, I said to him, he said something about like, I said, are you wanting to go somewhere after Carlos and Liliana's on New Year's? He's like, I thought we would just come back here. And I was like, oh, that's totally fine with me. I was like, I just thought you would maybe want to go over to his friend's house. He was like, no, it's too far away. He's like, you know, at that time of night or whatever, like it's, because they live out in the middle of nowhere. So, and he was like, are you not wanting to go to Carlos and Liliana? His mom's not going to Carlos and Liliana's anymore. And so we thought his aunt and uncle and everybody. So it's just going to be us and Carlos and Liliana and their friends, and we don't really know them that well. And so now what we thought it was going to be is not what it's going to be. And I could give a shit about New Year's Eve, honestly. I mean, some of you guys were like, I'll be at home in my pajamas. I'm totally fine. And listen, if I'm not on a vacation, I don't want to we did events for years. We went dressed up. I don't want to do that. It's going to be too cold. I want to be whatever. And I already thought today, I was like, oh, I can wear my new hoodie that I bought at Dick's Sporting Goods the other day. I mean, I'm going to be dressed real casual. Well, if we go to his friend's house, it would be real casual too. So I said to him, he goes, are there other options? And I go, he goes, we're not going to know anybody at Carlos and Liliana's because we don't know that group of friends real well, which is true. We don't. We know a couple of them, but not a lot of them. And I said, and plus Carlos told us to get there after 10 because they've got stuff they're doing before. He was like, after 10, and then everybody's coming between like 10:30 and 12. Well, they'll end up staying there we're not staying there until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So I said, well, what other options, babe? And he goes, I don't know. Are there other options? I said, I wish we were going on a trip. He goes, I know, me too. Because I told him last year when we went to the wedding, I said, every year from now on, I'm being on a beach. Well, we didn't plan it early enough. So anyway, he keeps on saying, we could go the first or second week in January. I'm like, okay. But anyway, so I said, well, what are our other options? I said, who's going over to your friend's house? It's literally like the 5 couples that we're friends with. I mean, the drinking it's going to be the same at one. They'll probably be drinking more, actually, at Carlos and Liliana's. The drinking doesn't bother me. That's, like, I know when people are probably like, oh, the drinking doesn't bother me. When I'm done with the drinking, I just leave anyway, if it's too much. So I said, well, what are our other options? And he goes, well, I don't know. If there's something else you want to do. I go, we can stay here and just watch a movie if you want. He looked at me like, are you crazy? I don't care. It's New Year's Eve, you know. I don't really care. I said, okay. And so I said, well, let me think about it. He's going to have more fun with his friends. So I think, I don't know. I don't care about New Year's. I did say to him, though, I said, I don't want to be, like, I don't want you. Any other night, a Tuesday night, I could care less. But for New Year's, I don't know. It does kind of matter to me. You know, like, I don't want to be alone when the clock strikes midnight. I'm not superstitious about that, but I'm like, it is New Year's, you know what I mean? So listen, I'm going to know, I mean, I know all of his friends. The only thing about it being at their house is that it's so effing far away. So he said to me, he goes, well, we don't have to stay real late over there. Well, I don't want him to get over there and then, like, feel like I'm pushing him out the door when I can leave at 12:30. So I think what I'm going to say to him is, why don't we plan over getting there at like 9? I'll stay till like 12:30 and take an Uber home. It's 45 minutes. I can do. If I was going to go to the casino, I would do it. So, which I'm not. But I think I'll just like, you know what? I think it's important to show up and do things that your partners want you to do for them. And he's not asking me, you know, so I'll just be like, we'll just go over to their house. And and I can still dress casually. And he'll have a better time over there and then, you know, whatever. So I think we'll probably do that on New Year's Eve instead. Because I'm like, if we get to Carlos and Liliana's and we really don't know anybody, then it's like, we're just doing this. And I'll probably have a better time over at his friend's house. I'm just like, what if I get out there and I can't get an Uber home? Anyway. Okay, so last night I finished After the Flood. It took me about even on the 3rd episode, so I was like halfway through the 3rd episode when I started. It's 6 episodes. And I was like, I don't know, this show's kind of slow. And then on like the 3rd episode, it got really good. It got really, really good. The ending is so complicated and convoluted that I didn't really see it coming at all. But it is so good. And I really like the main character. I love her mom. I love her partner. Her, like, police partner. So I would highly recommend After the Flood. And then after that, I was like, okay, I made a list. Oh, shoot, I don't have my phone out here. Oh, I know what else. So I got caught up on Elsbeth last night. Yeah, I got caught up on Elsbeth. I got caught up on Ghosts. So the only shows I have to catch up on my list, Welcome to Plathville, yes. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, yes. The Valley, yes. I still have to finish those and do my reactions to it. But of like the shows I'm watching right now. So Elsbeth and Matlock don't come back till February. I have 2 episodes of Matlock to watch. So Ghosts was the Christmas episodes. I watched those. And then Elsbeth I caught up on. It was about the Nutcracker. It was okay. It was cute. The guy that was in it, he was in some movie I just watched not too long ago. He played the girl's dad. Does anybody know what movie he was in? I feel like I just watched a movie with him not too long ago. Anyway, I'll have to look him up and see what else he was in. It was something that Alex and I just watched not too long ago. So anyway, watched those, got caught up on those. So I just have 2 episodes of Below Deck Mediterranean and 2 episodes of Matlock. Then I'm caught up on all my TV shows, except for the other ones I still have to watch. So I watched those last night too. Oh my God. Got into bed. Okay, so now my thing is, like, I don't stay up till the very last minute. I get into bed. Well, this is my very new thing that I just started. I got in bed last night with my Kindle, and when I have to, like, put the dogs to sleep and stuff like that, and I laid in bed, like, and I just, like, read like a chapter of my Kindle, and then I went to sleep. I'm loving my Kindle so much. I started reading, well, I downloaded a bunch of these apocalypse books, but I started this book. It's a young adult apocalypse book. It's called Monument 14. I don't understand it yet. I'm not that far. They're like, the bus driver saves them, and they're in this, like, Walmart kind of, it's a Safeway, I think. And, like, hail came down. But it's already kind of futuristic anyway. You can tell by how they talk, because they're talking about, like, different stuff. So I don't know. I'm not super into it yet, and I'm trying to get through the Christmas Corpse book. But anyway. So, and now I'm going to go inside, and I'm going to see if I can take a little bit of a walk. I think I can. The snow is completely stopped. Might be a pretty little walk tonight. I mean, not super long, but yeah, I'm not as cold as I thought I would be out here. So, I made it through the cold. She's a cold-hearted snake. Or is it he? He's a cold-hearted snake. Look into his eyes. Uh-oh, he's been telling lies. Anyway, you know what? My wreath never came on tonight because it must be because the light's on in there. So I'm going to get off here now. Go take my walk while I'm uploading this. Oh, I don't even have any of my videos posted yet. They're all uploading right now. Well, 2 of them are uploaded. I'm going to upload the rest. So I'm going to get all that done. And then it feels so late, but it's only like 6 something. Anyway, so I'm going to get off here now. And I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Monday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. I hope you're having a great week. Let me know what you're doing for New Year's in the comment section below. Why do I feel like the comment section is just going to be inundated with people saying they're just staying at home in their pajamas, reading and watching TV, which sounds like a good plan. Alex might at the last minute be like, I don't want to go anywhere. I'd be like, heaven, I'm in heaven. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.